Righty, this is episode 17, I believe. Took my notes. Yeah, this is 17 of Ultraviolet Grasslands. We left off. We were at the beach at the crust shell,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and then returned to our nearby location, the Behemoth shell, and decided to figure out what to do there. Does anyone have any highlights they'd like to share from our last session?
Yeah. So one thing that I would like to do is when Aderon completed the cycle of learning through Apate's dreams, you said there were two options: either be like open through the noosphere to animals, or open to the noosphere through gates.
Right.
And I chose gates,
Yeah.
and then I did the thing where I was like, I'll contribute extra points so that Apate can learn a point of something. And I couldn't remember the animal thing. So I wanted to say, Agatha, if you would rather have the like making progress on being able to talk to animals as a formal skill versus, so I mean, you're doing it already, but it could be like a formal trait.
I'm good,
Okay.
but thank you.
What I
Also,
had
because
said,
this is the last session that I can really play for this
oh,
next
okay.
bout of time, so it doesn't.
Doesn't
I'm
matter.
not. I'm not fussed. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else happened last time that was notable for folks?
Yeah, I meditated on the shell, and then I saw a vision of the past where I saw these creatures that were like giant. Oh, like in your background, Mark.
Oh yeah, yeah, kind of like yeah, these guys here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had these giant limbs and they had humanoid faces, which was really freaky. And they walked around. They were the denizens. So that was really cool.
We also got a rumor about the wedding back at
Yeah.
the ride between
Okay, not a rumor. I brought the news.
about the news of Pookie the Cat Lord and our brand new born porcelain prince, Progress 9 body, who
Yeah.
split off from 60 Black Helmet, the security force of the Lacerai. And they ran off RUNNOFT to elope, I guess. And yeah, I'm sure that's totally fine there. Crush shell discovery, visions of that, shared that. Um, oh yeah, we had a little good talk with Otakar about his affliction,
Yep.
where he is a bear that will occasionally turn into a human when the moon is just right. Our wishes, figuring out what to do with the friends skill, maybe grab some more friends for Modan, maybe get a signature teacup started up for Aderon, practice crafting a little bit. Um, Bate wanted to maybe romance Anakar. That's a wish, and see how the news of the wedding changed things, if anything. But right now we are at at the Behemoth shell. So looking at the big map, which I totally have right here. I'm at a hotel on my laptop now, so I don't have my screens and a book. So I'm gonna be slightly slower today. Um, so if you would like to go south, or I mean west towards the Black City, it'll be a 2 week journey to the moon-facing Ford. There is a somewhat of a pull backwards to the last Sarai with Aderon's um, connection to the Rebuilder, which would mean either going via the south-facing passage or the Fallen Umber, or you can do a secret third thing, whatever you like.
So we still tentatively have a meeting with the power that's in the Colossus that has the shells, the bubbles.
Yes,
Uh,
that's right. At the what's it called? The Ideal Island is the name of the spot.
yes, yes, the ideal. And since that involves Phaedrid, I don't want to just skip it. I mean, there was a Phaedrid and um, Aderon thing together. So I wonder if it's possible for us to find something new besides going to the beach in this area.
Yeah, let me see.
Sorry, where was that going to be? Was that at the Behemoth shell where that would be?
Uh,
That's that. There was that floating city that looked like this paradise in a dome, but if you go through the dome, it was like it was a barrier, but it was a permeable barrier you could push your way through. Inside was completely poisonous and noxious and really bad for you.
photo.
And where is that on the map? Just so I can.
Oh,
It's next to it's a discovery right next to the Behemoth shell. So we can go
Okay,
back
got
there
it.
if you want to go there and explore it.
Yeah.
Um,
but we basically determined there's like no way to kind of go in without some pretty severe equipment and breathing apparatuses and things.
Yeah, which is gettable, but probably a larger city.
Oh, and when there are also hostile animals in there,
There were some
Squirrel
like
I
things,
don't know
I
about
think.
hostile, but
Funky squirrels or whatever.
aggressive. Little squirrels and groundhogs and whatnot that were kind of uh, yeah, they
didn't
were
seem to
they
be
were fun.
fans
Yeah.
when we were trying to explore.
So there's that. There are a couple other. There is one more discovery to be had if you want to spend some time.
I'm gonna wring every drop out of this place.
Yeah. He, uh, and we are at the Behemoth shell right now, right? So it's just our current location. I'm I'm down keep to keep discovering.
Cool.
I have no preferences.
So yeah, instead of rolling for it, let's just say we spend a week hanging out there, talking to people, and we just get it. And let me mark that time on the caravan. So this will be Orange Month 4. So let's do the procedure for a week in town. So um, would is anyone feeling brave enough to venture into the caravan tab, or would you like me to spend your food for it?
Sure. What do we got?
We need to spend a week's worth of supplies. So I think that is um, four, including Phaedrid. So that would come out of probably cart three.
Let's see what supplies are. Right. I'm trying to see if I can translate this.
Yeah. So on line 36 there,
Here.
got 6 sacks of supplies in cart three.
Oh, okay. So we would be down to 2 sacks of supplies.
Yeah.
So let's do that. And we should consider buying some more, but we'll just wait till the next time.
We'd be down to 3, right? Because didn't Ottakar forage?
Yeah, but Phaedrid will.
Oh, Phaedrid's
Hunting
technically still here.
Phaedrid.
That's right. I forgot.
Right. Okay, so we're down to 2 sacks of supplies.
He's just very quiet.
Yeah, he's just pondering the issues at hand.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming that he's doing research or he has
Yeah.
business stuff that he's attending to.
Yeah,
He's always got something to be
that's
studying.
something brewing.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So then let's have someone roll a misfortune for our place here. So if anyone would like to roll a d20 for us?
I'll do it if nobody else wants to, because I love misfortune.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Let's see what we have.
Makes sense too, because I feel like, Adoram would just feel like their misfortunes are just chances to learn things.
That is exactly what Aderon thinks. I rolled an 11. Aderon's like, oh, look, this is so interesting.
And you
It's a
have
new
Wanderer now,
protocol.
right?
Say it again?
You have Wanderer now, right?
Traveler, you mean?
Yes, I have one
Traveler, yeah. So
traveler.
three
I have
there.
basic level traveler, so plus 3, so I get 14.
So 14. Yeah. You're still just contemplating the size and scale of the giant calcite corpses you've seen here so far.
Yeah.
Very small. I will roll for encounters and whatnot on my hand here. Oh my gosh. Okay. So here we are at the place where we have Okay. So, there was a week recently when you saw or heard rumors of some I think some steppe wolves, steppe steppe wolves kind of sniffing around the outskirts of the area here. Um,
Yeah, I think we had that encounter already once before.
yeah.
We
Uh,
didn't investigate it, but I think we had it.
yeah. They have gotten bolder.
Uh,
Who do we think might be out? Um, so what are so questions are who is going to spend their week getting the info for the destination?
I mean, I could.
um,
I have. I don't know if it matters. I'm expert traveler. I don't think that makes a difference. But
And if someone wants to like forage or learn or do our other camp actions, you can also spend a week doing that. Market research, carousing, studying. But Modan wants to uh, spend the week doing discovery. Great. Um, what would Apate and Aderon be up to while that is happening?
I would like to heal my burden if possible. Is that a thing that I can do?
For a burden over here.
I have garbled voices as my burden.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you can spend a week kind of quieting your mind and getting that taken care of.
Nice.
That's just your level one burden there. So you didn't dive deep into it, so I think it's gonna be okay. How about Aderon?
Aderon is going to work on crafting some more.
Mhm.
Um, and he's gonna he's decided to abandon chitin specifically because of the dangers,
Yeah.
and he's going to be testing out not only working with the crystal that he can make. I do have a question. So, um, a while ago we were at the Potsherd crater,
Yeah.
and I picked up a spare bit of oh, what's it called? It's in my thing. A spare bit of
Sanguine pottery.
sanguine pottery. And I am wondering if I can use sanguine pottery to fuel my crafting.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, uh, so either make a thought roll and we'll see if you get your level, or if you just want to burn that pottery, I think we can give you the level without rolling for it.
Let me go ahead and make a roll.
Okay, great.
I'm fond of rolling thought rolls.
Yeah, it's a thought roll, looking for an 11.
It's 15.
Great.
So
Yeah, so we'll get your second level. What does that look like while you're kind of tinkering with your pottery and
what so the thing that Adiron is doing right at the moment is they're testing out different materials now that they've decided that chitin's hard to work with and potentially a health hazard. They're testing, and Adiron knows that they can generate crystal from their body,
hmm,
but they sort of want to explore other materials to see what their range is. So at this point, it's like moving on from the thing they started with because they're like, oh, that's not for me. It's too hard. Um, and so working with crystalline patterns from their body is sort of really easy. So they're sort of trying to explore what what they're comfortable with in terms of materials and stuff. That's the and basically, of course, at this point, between Aderon having the spoken the thought and then um, Modan encouraging it, Aderon now has the new goal of making a special teacup.
yes,
Now
yes.
I've got the heated teacup, which I'll always have to keep with me because it can self-heat tea. But to have a special teacup is the so basically Aderon's making a whole bunch of attempts at teacups.
Fantastic. Doing the volume, not quality, quantity, not quantity learning style.
Well, it's they're trying to they're trying to get a sense of how different materials work and whether or not they're comfortable working with those materials.
Yeah, awesome. Is the crystal generation like pooping?
No, I mean the crystal generation is basically Aderon takes their hand and turns their hand into whatever they're making, and then drops it off and detaches it, and then reforms the hand. So the crystal generation's really easy as long as Aderon understands the structure of something. And so I'm sort of going back and forth between like I saw that one. Aderon's going back and forth between how easy it is to do things in crystal, but I also have to keep taking resources into my body because essentially I'm, pulling off little pieces of my clay body and shaping it into things, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yes, I understand.
What about the good one?
I think Modan. We have our little behemoth concierge, Dopital, who is one of the great folk who think they're great. They are the only ones who call them that. And so if you're like, oh, I'm looking around for some more stuff to do, Dopital's got. I've got you covered. Come with me. I will. Let's go out to the hills here. I'll point you in the right direction. Um, it's a couple direction or a couple days in that direction, and he points north. And he says, "You, I think I saw you with some irritated vermin the other week, right? The gerbils or hamsters or rats or something. Um,
Oh, yeah, who took away all the bones.
they took away the bones, right? The there are
If I remember correctly, there was a cave full of bones, and they
yeah.
all came in and took them and carried them away.
So the landscape around here is kind of like gently rolling pine hills, right? Um, and these are a particularly buxom is the word it uses in the book to describe the pines. These kind of like lush, overgrown, like weird pines that um, people who have traveled here and left and come back have said that there are things to be explored. There are caves or a temple or a factory, or people describe it in different ways. But every time they try to get near, they are driven away by the various kinds of vermin. And uh, people coming through here are usually on the way to somewhere, so they're not super keen on delaying their journey in search of random adventure that could be cut short by unfriendly wildlife. But you seem different. You and your friends seem like you are interested primarily in adventure and not just efficiency in travel. Do I assume correctly?
Well, I don't know that would necessarily call us adventure seekers. We're more knowledge and experience seekers,
Hmm,
which necessarily sometimes leads you into adventure.
I understand. It's it's one it's when one goes beyond one's own boundaries that one learns the most. Is that not true?
I mean, that is probably true.
Well, have you told him about the other places you've been, the floating city and the beach?
Honestly, I mean, if it would have come up, yeah. I mean, I'm certainly not intentionally hiding anything,
Yeah, yeah,
but
and he like these are known attractions in the
yeah.
area. Says, oh yes, of course. I do not recommend going to the Poison City, although we don't call it that because it's not good for tourism. Um, but since you've explored around in the other directions, that if you can handle a few uppity rats, I think you might find something interesting. mean, there's something about this place that animals become. They think that they are allowed to become more like us. They, I don't understand how it happens, and I don't understand why it's here specifically. But, and as he says that, you hear the like the lone howl of a wolf, and he goes quiet and silent. That was close.
I'm curious as to, I mean, do you think animals should not be allowed to aspire to higher things and to be more like us?
They can aspire to whatever they like, but I don't have to like it. I mean,
What is it you have against that? I'm just curious, again, as a philosophical argument.
I feel like we know each other well, so
Sure.
I don't mind when other people come here and think they're as good as us, and I don't mind other people aspiring to greater things. Of course, they could never be as great as the great folk, and no disrespect to you, of course, but it just seems unnecessary. And you hear a couple more howls closer.
Well, since you were kind enough to open yourself and speak so honestly with me, may I give you the gift of doing the same in return?
I'm always open to new experiences.
I hope that me and my compadres have demonstrated that obviously we have nothing but respect for the great folk, and
Oh, of course,
we consider you all friends, and
everybody does.
many people much wiser than myself have said various equivalents of those who know they know nothing are really the true geniuses of the universe.
Sounds like something that someone who knows nothing would say.
Mm. Do you not feel the great folk have anything left to learn, anywhere left to grow?
We've reached the pinnacle of existence, I think, here. Don't you agree? Why else would you have come here? We've we live in a perfect environment. We've developed our facilities to the pinnacle of what humans could reach. And I might say, and as he says, I might say, a shape envelops him.
Hmm.
Uh, Dark, looks like a cloak almost. And he just kind of like falls over and starts like, um, you would swear it was like a carpet almost. Um, but it looks like it kind of like came out of the ground and just like enveloped him and like is just squeezing him. Um, and as you see that, um, you see wolves slowly coming out of the hills towards you, surrounding you.
Hmm. Where am I exactly? Where was this all taking place?
You're like on a hill, not too far from the shell, but just so like he wanted to give you a good view of where you'll be going.
Hmm.
And one of the wolves kind of like grabs the carpet and starts dragging it back to where the pack is coming from.
And how near is the caravan? I take it Adiron and Apate are probably still at the caravan. Is that where they were?
Yeah, you're probably a 15-20 minute walk.
Oh, okay, so not like,
If you wanted to be on Beetle Horse, that's cool too.
yeah, I probably would have. I imagine I ride Beetle Horse. I'm going to carefully observe. Try to I'm going Moden endeavors to remain very calm. He's not going to like appear frightened, but also not hostile. Just very like, okay, this is the thing that's happening. Let's get on the horse. Let's see what's going on. Just sort of try to maybe casually follow where they're dragging him
Let,
slowly.
let me get a thought roll plus your traveler.
Roll plus my traveler
You're gonna follow,
thought.
and you're not gonna tell any of us about it.
I swear, but
Okay,
I feel like
Morgan.
I feel like it would be wrong to just abandon him to the wolves until I know I'm in like if they turn on me, I'm out.
I mean, they are surrounding you and
Oh,
dancing.
anyway, thought roll. Hold on, two. Let's take yours first. Plus traveler, you said, which was expert do? That gives you what, 6?
Yeah, I think you're at a +8.
So +8 total. How about a 26?
Yeah. Yeah, so this is clearly a hunting pack of wolves that have stealthily followed you as you came from the behemoth. The other thing you see is that there are a couple more of these. They're like 8x4-ish, reddish. They look like carpets with like weird mottled patterns on them, and there's a couple of them kind of like slowly creeping along the ground. You know what would have been behind you, but you are very good at being aware of your surroundings, and I think your expert uh, expert knowledge of how things work out here is that an attack is imminent. But since you rolled so well, you have a moment to do something before you're set upon by one of the carpets.
I am going to. So the two carpets are sort of coming from behind me ish.
Yeah, they're like kind of like creeping up with the wolves. And like the wolves are kind of like advancing, but they don't want to jump you. I think they're like using the carpets to hunt. They're like hunting together. So like the carpets
Yeah.
are the ones that are capturing people, and the wolves like pull people off and finish them off.
I am going to, whatever way I deduce would be the most expedient way out. I don't know if there's a particular direction like that's, the least hunted path or whatever in front of. Whichever way I endeavor is the best way for me to go, I'm going to fire the radiation gun as a warning shot, not trying to hit anything, but just like back the fuck off.
Cool. That's going to be an agility test then. So that's a d20 +1, it looks like.
Yes, plus I don't know if my now skilled fighter plays into it at all.
Fighter is more wrestling and punching, right? Because you were training with the guard.
Well, I was training. I mean, my intent when I was training, because I remember I said I was also doing range stuff.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, add that then.
I mean, there's definitely intent of using my gun. I thought it was general. If anything, I would have concentrated more on ranged than close up.
That's just like the top level fighter skill you took, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
So that's a +3 then, right?
+4 altogether.
+4 altogether. 17.
Great. Go ahead and roll that damage, which is 3d8, I think, which is an awful lot.
I don't think he's shooting at anything. So
yeah, I didn't know how it works since I wasn't trying to hit.
Yeah, still roll the damage.
Well, actually, it's not that much. I rolled a 1, so 8 total.
8 total. Great. It is not a precision weapon.
Yeah.
You do. I think you do. You rolled a, what was it? 8 + 3, was it? Or 8 + 4? Yeah. Cool. Great. Perfect. Yeah. You hit the ground in between a couple of the wolves in the direction of they've got you pretty uniformly surrounded. This is what they do. But you unload that, and they are not dumb animals. They are skilled predators, and they already have one. And so that they back off from that area. If you want to make a break for it with Beetle Horse, you can do that.
Yeah, we'll do that. Much as I hate to just abandon, but I'm not really equipped to fight off a pack of wolves and some carpets for a conceited great one who thinks he's so great.
Let me get an agility check with Traveler.
Inside voice doesn't come out the mouth, but inside voice wants to go, don't seem quite so great now. What'd you say, agility roll?
Agility plus your Traveler.
She's a D plus much, which is a +7 altogether. Wait, Julie, yes, +7 altogether. Pew pew pew.
Anything but a bad
Pew. 20.
plus 20. Yeah, perfect. Great. Yeah, you scale out of there. Beetle Horse is as interested as you are in getting the wolves. And they've got their thing, they've got their prey for the day. So they, kind of like make a start after you and they're like, nah, we'll get you later. Yeah, then it's a quick ride back to the shell. Do you tell anything about what happened?
Oh, yeah. I'm telling them everything that happened. Especially because, like, I'm like, obviously I tried. My instinct was to stay and help, but there came a point where it was obviously like leave or probably also get taken down with him, which helps no one.
Yeah, yeah.
So, it was not my will to abandon him, even though he was kind of a
I
dick.
have
Kind of a dick.
you did appropriate in your protocols, but I do wonder if because they captured the representative instead of merely feasted upon them, is it possible that they are working for some other entity?
I mean, I suppose anything is possible. My guess would be probably not. They're probably just bringing a large food source back for the pack. Would be what I would my educated guess, but anything is possible in the grasslands.
Should we make, because did they seem to be dragging the representative in the direction of the pines?
No, not
No. Okay.
yeah, they were probably going not tangent, perpendicular to it.
Hmm. Hmm. Should
Is
we?
this are there is this the so this individual that is most likely dead. They talked about animals uplifting perhaps, but not having their rights as sentient beings acknowledged.
They did. They
Hmm.
did mention this, and this at the time it was probably my own discomfort with their beliefs that tried to correlate things that are probably not correlated. In the moment, it seemed as if when they said something objectionable, there was a howl. But
Oh.
in hindsight, the truth of the matter is just probably the pack was communicating each other as they closed, hunting us, trying to be stealthy. And there was most likely no actual correlation between the two events. But again, in the grasslands, I've seen stranger things. So my brain tends to explore all possibilities, which is good, but can also lead to false correlations.
Well,
Epate,
it's my duty and obligation to defend the rights of animals where it seems like they need defending. So, but I also like to be alive.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I didn't just immediately jump to attacking them. Like, there's always the part of me that hopes maybe there could have been a communication of some sort. I didn't immediately flee. I didn't display hostility. I was hoping for some kind of peaceful outcome, but then it became very apparent that they were going to also come after me, and fleeing was my only option.
Yes, of course.
But
And you were
yeah,
wise in
I
doing
was
so.
also hoping for some kind of perhaps communication there that didn't happen.
Do you think it's possible
I
based
honestly,
on
I don't know. I mean, not for me. I don't have any.
Adron picks up his teacup, sips it for a second, and says, I believe it is time for me to take a walk in that direction. And walk them.
You want to go and inject some of your cells in them? Is that what you want? I should come with you.
I mean,
But
if you're going to go, we should all go.
very well. I believe that there is an opportunity to. I sense perhaps the two communities might not be at peace with each other, and perhaps there is an opportunity to clarify their relationship.
Just be aware that defending ourselves may end up being the only viable option should we wish to live. Though, as I think we're all in agreement, it's always the last option. But they did not seem amenable to discussions. However, again, both of you perhaps may have, or Ottakar. I mean, I don't know if, I don't, unfortunately, have any way to really communicate with them unless they had some, kind of telepathy or something. So I felt a bit out of my depth, where perhaps you may not.
Otokar, would you like to join us in this endeavor, or do you consider it a fool's errand?
So why are you going after the wolves?
I need to uphold beast rights. This is my calling.
It's it sounds like they're doing a pretty good job themselves.
Yes, but in case they want more of a say in terms of the relationship, more than just like a hunter-prey relationship, in case they want to establish anything else, any sort of knowledge exchange, any sort of partnership in any way. That's the sort of thing that I would like to uh be a bridge of in case that was something that uh they wanted.
I won't stop you, but it sounds like there was a lot of them.
There was. And
Are
weird
wolves
carpet things that will envelop you.
are wolves good at climbing?
Not as good as bears.
There were plenty of trees, yes, Modan?
I think we're there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Plenty of trees.
but the yes, and I hear they are very buxom,
What does
but
buxom mean?
curvy,
Oh,
fat,
okay.
perhaps.
Thick.
Very
I
well.
but they do have carpets that are maybe more nimble than wolves. I don't know. I've never seen carpets like this before.
They came out of nowhere and enveloped him pretty quick.
I haven't seen anything like that, but I've heard about magic carpets that envelop and digest people. I think that's just kind of some kind of fungus, but people call them,
Mm.
Oh, it's a fungus.
I like carpets, right? Or
Mm.
I wonder how they reach an agreement. I assume that
Hmm.
if it digests it, then once you envelop something, it's like putting it in your stomach. Then that would seem like once it's in your stomach, you would not want to regurgitate it.
sounds like there
So
would
how do
be,
they come to the agreement with the wolves?
I bet there's a lot of digested wolves before they did.
Oh,
And probably a lot of ripped up carpets. Dogs are
oh,
not great with carpets.
this is very
Again,
interesting.
Ottakar, obviously, every choice is your own, but you are formidable, and
Appreciate.
every adventure is less dangerous if you are a part of it. No pressure, just saying your presence is valued. If you want to stay with the caravan, you are welcome to do so. But
I've
I
seen a lot of things in my days, and I'm happy to see some more with you.
I'm up for adventure if this is what we feel we need to do.
If I elbows Moden, like, wow, that was so good.
Cool. Let's leave in the morning then. So we'll give you a date for that. Is there anything you want to do to prepare yourselves, or any yeah, what do you think you're gonna do before you head out to go wolf hunting?
Yes. Um, I would love to maybe like buy question mark like raw meat or something that I can like
Hmm.
throw in a direction
An
in
offering?
case or offer, like just yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
get a charisma check from you?
Yes. Okay.
It's a D20 plus two, looks like.
So I just sorry, I always forget. I just rolled D20.
Yeah, D20 plus two, it looks like.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah. Um,
21.
there are a couple markets in the shell, and news of Dopital's certain demise has spread. And if you're going to go hunting the wolves that have honestly been starting to cause a little bit, they've been getting a little bit uh, not aggressive. What do you call bold? I guess.
Yeah.
Lately, bad for tourism, bad for business. So if you want to go hunting them, you take what you need. No charge. Um,
Oh,
maybe bring a pelt pack if you think about it.
okay. I will put it in my raw. I'll just put raw meat
Yeah.
in my items.
Raw meat.
All right. Um, cool. So, will anyone else want to do anything to prepare?
I wish I knew something to do to prepare.
Fair. Um, cool. Let's get I assume Modan would probably lead this. So let's give you
Yeah.
a where are we at? Let's give us a traveler plus thought roll, I guess.
Oh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Can the beetle mount carry more than one person?
It could probably carry two uncomfortably, right? As long as you're cozy.
Hey,
M-
I don't know
be-
much about the beetle horse.
Yeah, it's
Other than
like
it's a
a
beetle
horse,
horse.
only like a beetle.
because my suspicion is that Aderon and Ottakar can climb trees, etc., if they get into trouble. But I don't know if Apate has a quick way of escape.
Hmm.
I mean, if it's possible, I'm
Yeah,
fine with it as long as it's a thing we can do.
yeah. You can say it again.
Yeah.
I love a beetle horse built for two.
Okay, so D20 plus 8,
Yeah.
27.
Fantastic. So, so you start at the site where the attack happened and track them. Give me a few details about like what you see and what you use to follow them to their den, I guess, right?
I think that luckily it doesn't take too skilled of a I mean, it was a big pack. They had a carpet things going across the ground, dragging a guy. So I feel like it's probably a pretty obvious path back. I don't think as much as they want to be stealthy for the attack, I don't think
I,
they're
I
like,
think
cover our tracks, wolves.
yeah, I think at some point, not too far away from the attack site, it looks like like when someone's like using a broom to like cover your tracks, like the tracks just kind of end as if they'd been brushed away, but you're able to follow them. How?
Looking for broken branches and things.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. And maybe Beetle Horse like has their scent a little bit too. And you
That's
can,
true. Beetle Horse does have forager now,
oh
so
yeah, forager. You can forage some wolves.
I
Um,
imagine it's a related skill at least. Good
yeah, but
sniffer.
and it's it's a couple hours away from the shell. It seems like they've been expanding their hunting territory. But you are able to kind of approach, there's these gentle hills, and I think you're able to follow them, follow their tracks, their trail to, you come over a ridge and you can see there's like a low cave, maybe like with like a wide, like 3 or 4 foot tall opening, kind of like in the side of a hill. And you can actually see a couple like the gleaming eyes of a couple wolves just inside there, almost as if they're like intentionally looking out for anyone approaching. You can't see too well inside the cave, so you don't know exactly what's in there or how many. But there's like scraps and bones and stuff around the outside, and you know you're a seasoned traveler and you've seen like dens and warrens and burrows and animal lairs before, and usually when there's the refuse from their meals and whatnot that's kind of just scattered. It looks as if the remains from whatever meals they've brought here have been kind of like organized into neat piles. Like there's like a pile of bones that are stacked up and some skulls, and like there's a pile of effects of people that have been travelers that have been taken. If there's a couple some antlers over here. It looks like their kills have been organized.
Seems like this would be a good place to introduce ourselves in peace.
Hello, friends. I come in peace, and I see that uh you have done a great job in organizing your living quarters. I commend you.
um,
I come bringing a gift.
and so you're just approaching the cave mouth, introducing yourself like that.
Yes, and I'm gonna
Fantastic.
hold the raw meat in my hand like this.
Amazing. Um,
I'm going to pet my beetle horse very gently to be like, look, we like animals. Animals
Animals
are
good.
nice.
um, Aponte, let me get a charisma check from you, and let's add your mule lawyer skill to
Okay,
it.
how do I add that?
So the skilled means +3.
+3. Okay.
+3, so +5 altogether.
11, 12, 13.
13. Um, the two wolves that were guarding advance, with their heads down, sniffing. And they how close to the mouth of the cave are you coming?
I think it's like close enough to see all of the things that you told us, but not close enough to be like, I'm gonna like storm your home.
Right,
Like
right.
like not to be threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they kind of like come to the edge of, I mean, if it was people, you would call it a camp, right?
Yeah.
And then they kind of like sniff at each other for a minute, and then one of them approaches you and like kind of like slinks up and like takes the meat and scurries back a little bit to the other one.
Hmm.
And he actually drops the meat on the ground, and the other one sniffs it and like gives a little taste and like turns it over, and like even like paws at it a little bit. And then you could swear he nods to the other wolf, um,
The taster.
takes it back to the cave. And the other wolf is just now like standing there, like with his ears kind of like,
I got more of that. Uh where it came from. Not on not my flesh. I mean, I have more meat there, raw meat. Uh the thing is, uh, I would love to My job is a lawyer and a pirate mule lawyer, but I've expanded beyond mule lawyerdom to other animals as well. And I heard, and this may be a rumor, if I am wrong, I apologize, that um, you are now, you have now grown into more complicated thoughts that may veer into wanting knowledge exchange and or a trade of some sort. If I am wrong, feel free to ignore me.
And I think
But
as you're giving it this speech, it has come back to you and it's kind of pacing around you and sniffing at your clothes, your pack,
mhm,
on you. And it's you know you can tell by its ears that it's listening. It's
mhm,
also like checking you out and casting a glance over to the others,
yeah.
while it's happening.
My mood is very like I'm here to help, but also but also if you fight me, I will fight you. I don't think, yeah, I think Ipate is like used to dealing with like potentially dangerous clients, and is therefore like will not will not make direct eye contact, but will also like not express any weakness in like
Yeah, yeah,
body language.
yeah. And I think your animal lawyer skill, your mule lawyer skill, allows you to pull that off no problem. It
Great.
we've got a tentative I don't know about peace, but I think you've seen this kind of behavior before. Um, and you can tell that it's intelligent, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
like your mule is intelligent, right?
Hmm.
Probably doesn't talk. It probably I think your experience tells you that if it was an animal that could talk, it would have at this point.
Yeah.
It is still acting much like a wild wolf, uh,
Hmm.
but it seems to have like accepted that you're not a threat and maybe not prey right now.
Hmm. Yeah.
Especially like when they look over to Modan, like that's the guy. Oh, okay, okay. If they were going to shoot us, they probably would have
That's
shot
the
us
guy
anyway.
with the gun.
That's the guy with the big zapper. If they're going to do something, they probably would have done something by now. So yeah, it seems like you've reached some sort of tentative agreement, but
Yeah.
no verbal communication, right?
Yes. So I think the big thing that Ipate, now that we've kind of like established this, like maybe we can communicate, is like Ipate would probably want to pitch it like, um, you are a growing population, which is great. Congratulations for you. But this is now your population and the population back there is we're hitting a point where this can boil over into conflict. I understand you need to eat, but that's why trade is so important because trade is where you sometimes you each give each other something that they need, and now those folks they don't want to get eaten, all of them. And you don't want all of them to get eaten either, because well, there's tourism here, and that means that others will keep coming by. And so if this becomes a place that is too dangerous, then no one will come by anymore, and then you won't be able to eat at all. And also, sometimes you don't have to hunt so hard for your food because sometimes if you come to an agreement, we can do things like this, and I'll draw another raw meat, a slab of raw meat, and then present over. See? You don't have to risk your eye, your limb, uh, or anything else if you come to an agreement. And that is what I'm here to offer, is to broker an agreement between you and the folks back there. Now, I'm just a traveler. I'm not going to stay here forever. So, but while I'm here, I would love to help you communicate.
Yeah, you saw it lick its lips a little bit when you said other people will be coming by. But yeah, it takes the meat and kind of drags it back, and it's like kind of like backing back to the cave while like keeping you in sight, um, and retreats into the cave for a few minutes, and you don't see anything happening for a while. Um,
So during the interim, as a side break, Pate, or sorry, Aderon walks up to Apate, gives her some tea to cleanse her throat,
Oh, thanks.
and
I
then
am getting kind of thirsty.
steps back so that they don't interfere with the negotiations.
Um, and
I
after
take it when the people agreed to cooperate, did they give us like a lot of meat?
they gave you enough to do what you wanted to do, yeah, probably not like
My thought basically
tackle,
being, I
or
mean,
maybe like
obviously
a full tackle of meat if you
you're
want.
the expert here, Pate, but like I wonder if we offered them like an equivalent, assuming they understand all these concepts, an equivalent amount of meat, could we get the guy back?
Oh, you still want to. I'm pretty sure they're dead.
Well, I'm just thinking as far as like making a pact. If I mean, if he's dead, he's dead. But
Yeah,
you're probably right.
yeah, maybe we can
But
ask for
like
it.
bringing him back would be a big convincer and like, hey, look,
Mm-hmm.
see, we
Mm-hmm.
made a deal. They're not just gonna attack. Just something
Mm-hmm.
worth exploring. May not even be possible.
Yeah, we can. I'll bring it up.
Phaedrid has taught me that in any negotiation of mercantile nature, both parties need to provide some kind of reciprocal wares. If the humans are going to provide meat, what are the wolves providing for the humans?
Great question.
Not eating them is what I'm guessing the wolves would think.
But not eating them is a lack of service rather than a service.
It's protection.
It is a little bit like that.
I've dabbled that in that every once in a while. If you promise not to eat someone traveling by, sometimes those things. A bear's got to do what a bear's got to do.
But I would suggest that they will perceive that is themselves operating at a disadvantage. Where if you could create the sense that they operate at an advantage, it will give them more incentive to continue the behavior indefinitely.
What are you suggesting?
I mean, Apate did mention the concept of trade. I don't know. I mean, like we have to barter for our food. We don't go into a town and be like, "Hey, give us 3 sacks of supplies, and we won't kill anybody." So, what
And
Although some do.
did all those some do? So I
but
wonder if
so
there's a service the wolves could the wolves perhaps keep vermin away from the town, and then that's just more food for the wolves.
also, is there anyone obviously, if the great people have such a fabulous life, there might be others who wish to claim it. And so perhaps what the wolves can do for the great people is keep an eye out to protect them from those who wish to claim their amazing life.
This all hinges on us being able to communicate these concepts to the wolves. That I'm not sure. I mean, they seem more advanced than most. They seem to be understanding somewhat. How we come to a place where we know that this is all agreed upon by all parties, I do not know.
In my experience as a protocol expert, it is not those who have the keenest minds who come up with the best negotiations. It is those who are willing to um, to collaborate.
And when as you say that, um, a wolf exits the cave, and it is
Speaks very eloquently in a British accent.
um, there's a larger wolf. It actually has to kind of like duck down and scooch out of the cave. It's probably a good like 4 or 5 feet at the shoulder. Um, it is, it got like a scar across the face. It's got one white eye. Its fur is all kind of gray, and it wearing like kind of like a cowl cape kind of thing. Is one of these like more intricately patterned carpets. It's like got this like orange and purple like hotel floor pattern on it. And it's kind of like draped over this wolf as it comes out.
I will half bow on my beetle horse.
Hold on. Wait, so the carpet is covering this wolf? Is
Yeah.
this wolf getting controlled by the carpet? The fungal carpet? Aderon, Aderon,
Wouldn't surprise me.
observe with your eyes and your other senses.
So Aderon will, since Aderon has recently opened their third eye, Aderon will see if the noosphere is unusually active around the wolf. I may
Ooh.
not be able to detect much, but because I'm so new to this, but let me see if
What do you mean
This is
aura?
a cordyceps slash
aura check.
Yeah.
wasp controlling roaches situation here.
Okay. I don't think I
Oh
have it.
no, an aura check.
Yeah,
Ooh.
no advantages, but let's see what happens. 13.
That's fine.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
great. Um, you get some vibe off of it, but nothing really strong. Um, you do like it so the wolf approaches within a respectable distance. You feel like it could take a leap and take a chomp out of someone, but a little bit farther away than you could take a swing at him at. You had a weapon out, which you don't. And he kind of like hunkers down a little bit, and the carpet kind of like flows off of him and like undulates across the ground toward you. And when it does, the wolf just kind of like sits down and starts like licking its fur some.
Hmm.
And if you allow it to, the carpet, and this it's a bit larger carpet too. It's like
Hmm.
6 by 10 ish, um, and you're getting a better look at it now, Monan. It looks like the same kind of thing. It is, it's not perfectly rectangular. It's kind of worn and ragged around the edges. You can see it's actually pretty thick. It's probably like good, like 6 inches thick. This like mat of stuff that kind of wiggles its way towards you. Um, and it gets within a few feet of you and kind of like if it had legs, it would be like rearing up on its rear legs. It kind of like comes up into this like snake pose kind of.
Hello, friend. Are
Um,
we negotiating in peace?
and its middle kind of puckers some, as if it were like a hoodie hood, and kind of like leans towards you. You being
So Aderon will walk past Apate unless Apate does something, and Aderon will sit down, turn backwards, facing towards Apate, sit down, and scoot back and present their brain to the creature.
nice, nice. Um, it will lower itself over your head like a hood.
And I have speech.
Yeah. Um, let me get another aura check from you.
Okay. 10.
And you know what? Add your protocol to that as well.
Okay, 13.
13. Um, it feels for a minute like you were sitting on the edge of a cliff and kind of fell backwards. Um, and it's very, very bright.
Hmm.
And it's unclear how long you're falling. Um, and it's almost like this voice is a cushion that you land in. Um, there's still a sense of vertigo, and it's not like super clear. Um, it's not eloquent for sure, and it's I say a voice. But you interpret it as a voice, but it's more. Um, like a wash of like emotions and feelings and intent, um, but translated into words. Um, it basically says, the you know, and it gives some feeling of like like smaller wolf um, says, um, you are friends and want um, exchanges with food, with prey. I think it's hard to get food, prey, people. That feeling is difficult to get across.
So Aderon will um imagine um Aderon will imagine I think of a specific situation. A forest where um like wolves hunt in one area of the forest, but a bear lives in another area of the forest.
Mhm.
And the wolves and the bear don't intrude on each other's territory, but at the same time, sometimes the bear um, leaves a carcass that the wolves can clean up because the bear is not,
Mhm.
as particular or as a more particular eater.
Yeah.
And sometimes the wolves howl and let the bear know when something dangerous is coming by.
Yeah, and the sensation you get from that is like an identification with the bear. Like is asking like, am I the bear in this situation where I'm helping the wolves hunt?
Um, so Aderon, how would you do this? So Aderon will acknowledge that you are the bear to the wolves, and then Aderon forms a picture of the great people and shows the great people being a bear to your whole group. So sort of takes a great person and transforms them into a bear and transforms you, like has an image of you and the wolves and sort of coalescing into a pack of wolves.
Mhm.
That's weird, but I'm trying.
Um, the image it kind of communicates back is like there's like almost like a sickening feeling, like a nausea when you show the image of the great people. Um, and it's like you ate too much candy nausea, not like you saw something gross nausea. Uh,
Mhm.
um, um, yeah, if it was monad, it'd be something else. Um, and kind of along like that image of the great folk kind of pass, um, and then the feeling is, as the great people are a bear to us, I'm a bear to the wolves, and then you see like the wolves turning the like the gray wolf specifically turning into a bear that's surrounded by like it feels prickly, like a lot of sharp small creatures. um, and I think the sensation that comes along with it is like as if you like if you tried to eat cactus. I think that's the impression it's giving across to you. Like if you like picked up a bunch of like small prickly cactuses and ate them.
So clarify, I take the image of a great one and turn it into a prickly cactus with a sense of question. Is this what you mean?
Hmm. Oops. Um, say that again.
So I transform the image of a human, great one, into a cactus, and then with the question of, do you mean they're the cactus?
Yeah, they're separate. There's there are two sets of food. There's the gross great ones and these small prickly ones. And the
Okay.
the small prickly ones, you get the sensation of that they are not dangerous, but like annoying, but very useful, or nutritious, or um, but not nutritious in a food way, like nutritious in a brain way.
So Aderon is going to create some rodents and transform them into the prickly shape. Is this
Yeah, it clarifies like yes, they're some sort of small rodenty creatures that small smart rodenty creatures.
right? Um, and so then Aderon takes an image of a great one and then makes it stink like it's too sweet, like bad food.
And it almost like there's like these ripples of would be laughter if it was a sound, but like almost like tickles.
Um, hmm, mm, mm, hmm, okay. Um, so Aderon tries is like okay, takes a sickly sweet great one and um like has a sickly sweet great one come and try and help the wolves with their hunt.
Yeah, you get like a cautious feeling of agreement with that. And then you get like a image back of like the great ones helping them with a hunt of the the vermin, basically.
Okay. Okay. Um, so Aderon shows a great one either handing a dead vermin to them or wrapping up a vermin in a carpet and handing it to them.
It likes both of those.
Okay. Okay.
um,
Uh,
I think at this point it's like the feeling has become too fuzzy, and you're starting to like. I think there's a physical reaction that like you have to kind of eject before
okay.
brain starts dissolving.
Right. So if it does it lift off my head?
Like slides off again and
Okay.
like slides back or crawls back to the wolf. And like you can feel there's like a moment of a few moments of like the wolf kind of like basically doing the same thing.
Right, right. So Aderon will say to Apate and Modan and Otakar, it seems that the wolves and the carpets do not find the great ones tasteful, but they do have some interest in the rodents. And so,
Rodents.
Apate, if you I don't know how you might
Mhm.
best continue the conversation, but it seems like there's the possibility of negotiating some service where the Great Ones help the wolves capture rodents, perhaps through the use of bones, which the rodents are fond of. And I'm not sure what the wolves could do back, but I'm going to step back and drink some tea. So the Hadron walks back to and sits down on the ground next to the beetle horse and starts drinking tea.
Good work, Adoran. And I think we can we don't have to roleplay out everything,
Yeah.
but like Epate will request a like a sign of good intent, basically like of like willingness to trade. So basically, either yeah, if the guy that got dragged off yesterday is still alive, then that guy. If not, then that guy's remains specifically.
Yeah, I think the wolf goes over to the pile and like gingerly brings back a skull and drops it in front of you.
Mm.
It has
What
been
about all of the things? Yeah. I think Epate's like all of the things that they had on them. A skull can belong to anyone.
yeah. I think they didn't have a whole lot on them except for clothes, and they probably got dissolved. Right.
Hmm. Well, I don't know how convincing this will be. What do you think, Moden?
So basically, what we got out of that is that they want the gerbil things.
Yeah, they want to eat them
They
for
want to eat the
big
gerbil
brain
things.
business.
I mean, that's helpful, but also it's like I feel like we're sort of stepped around. It's like a different thing. Like, so great, but how? So if we
The thing is, my role is just to make sure that their needs are represented. I do not need to win cases.
okay, okay.
So I can communicate this to the folks back at the shell. Um, and whether they choose to go along with it is, of course, their choice.
Just trying to think of a proposed possible plan. So we know. Remind me out again. Where was that cave that was full of bones that all the gerbils came in and grabbed the bones and ran off with them?
Ooh.
That was where was
It
that?
was by the beach.
Yeah, it was by the beach.
How far away is that from the wolf's cave?
It let me see, where was it? Found it somewhere. I think it was it was underneath the
The other
flood
big,
that by the city. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that was you know, a few days away.
Hmm.
I
But oh, yeah, yeah.
it is important to note that the wolves don't actually find the great people tasty. So if there is the wolves have incentive to pursue other prey, and that is helpful for the great people. It is just that establishing some sort of reciprocal relationship might make this go better.
Yeah. And remind me, when they took the bones, did we see them making a supper? Did we see them take the bones back to like a warren?
They
Um,
took the bones to the pine trees.
What'd you say?
We have not yet investigated the pine trees,
The buxom trees.
the buxom trees. Perhaps we need a three-party deal, although maybe not.
Two ideas boiling around in my head. they're very rough right now, and I'm spitballing here. I'm just throwing things out. Are either revealing to them the location where we saw a bunch of gerbils take bones back here. That might be helpful to you. They might already know that. Or crazier, maybe making like a trail of bones from the pines to the wolf lodge. And maybe gerbils go like, ooh, bones, ooh, bones, ooh, bones, ooh, bones, and we just deliver food to the wolf cave. Those are my two ideas. Just again, not thought out, not detailed, just whims.
Yes, we are brainstorming. We are in our brainstorming stage. Now, I also have to clarify that now that I know what has these thoughts are not in fact beasts, but are some sort of fungi. I am much less invested in fighting for their rights and or broaching any sort of agreement for them. I do think it's very interesting to see if we can perhaps lure it to the buxom pines, and then see how they interact with each other.
This raises another interesting question that maybe Aderon can shed some light on, having interacted with the fungus cape. Are the wolves willing participants in this?
Oh,
Or are
You get the sense that it's a symbiotic, mutually beneficial.
okay? So it's okay, cool. So it's not like they're slaves to the.
No.
It was not an unpleasant experience.
All right.
It was unusual, but not unpleasant.
I mean, that's important as long as the wolves aren't being oppressed by the fungus capes.
you're right, Modin.
All right. Well, if they're all happy
Well,
together, then great.
yes, I suppose in that case I should still put more effort into it, considering that the wolves are involved, and that does fall under my scope of responsibilities.
Aderon,
Yes, oh, go ahead.
thought roll from you real quick.
Thought roll? Okay,
Thought roll.
His favorite kind.
that's true. 21.
One.
Whoa.
So much thinking.
I think as you're kind of processing all the feelings and thought that you happened, there was like a sour taste in there that you couldn't quite place, but now that you're out in the world again, there's just the faintest whiff of a trace of vomish something involved in there. Not readily apparent or even strong, just like at some point something brushed across a bone, something in this thing's past.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, especially knowing what we know now, that there's vomes that can go to Silver Lake that can just pass as normal things. If they ate something that was a vome without knowing it was a vome, they could have been like, "Oh, look, yummy cat" or whatever, but it was a vome cat.
Yeah, they
And
don't
then
be bone controlled or bone infected or anything. It's just there's a whiff of something in the background.
Right. So in the past, this thing perhaps had crossed a bone and had to deal with it.
Maybe something like that.
Something like that. Or maybe vomes are driving the gerbils, but the gerbils didn't seem to be vomish to us, did they?
They didn't.
Right.
Let's go ahead and take a little break. Top of the hour and change. Let's do 10 minutes, I guess.
Dig it.
Cool. We'll see you in 10. All right. So yeah, let's say we get you all back to the shell. Everyone take 150 XP for all that stuff. I think that was super good time. I think that bumps up higher at level 2 now, right?
wait, does it?
Should I think 600 is the
Okay, math. 150. So 630. What?
7.
No.
Right.
All right, Mark.
And
What do I need to do to get
another
to
there,
get
that's 50.
70
Boom.
more?
There, now you're level 2. Uh,
Wow.
when you level up, you can do what? You can
Add
uh,
a new fighting skill.
you can gain a new trait. You can improve a trait from skilled to expert or expert to master, which is a +3 to a +6 or a +6 to +9. You can increase
Okay.
your score by 1, or you can spend them points on like sidekicks or pets or a signature item or whatever you like.
Ooh, this is so exciting. I think I should bump up my charisma because
Hmm.
I feel like about to yaps. So probably important to get that better. And then I've never used my improved intestinal microflora. Maybe I should start eating more.
Yeah, from the
Um, but I'm gonna bump up Pirate Meal Lawyer if it makes sense.
you just do one of those things. So
Oh, I only do one. Okay, okay, sorry. Yes.
good.
So I bump up my charisma and that's it.
Cool. Cool, cool, cool. What do you do with the skull when you get back?
Well, actually, Moden, do you know whoever that died? Do they have like friends or family?
I don't know. I don't really know him
They
that
never
well.
said. They were just like
Oh,
your concierge.
yeah. I mean,
All right, we
guess
look
we could ask
for
around.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think when like the news was going around, like there was no like grieving widows or children or anything. So I think it was just like a dude.
okay. I
I mean,
think
but
like because it was like Ipate got a lot of like free raw meat from this community. So Ipate is probably going to be like, all right, I'm here to report back. So let's call a meeting. All right, let's talk about this. We're going to give you our findings. We're going to give you our suggestions. Whether you choose to take them is of course up to you. We would never think to tell you what to do.
Yeah, yeah. I think we haven't really talked about like the organization of the great folk here. I think it is
Mm,
like weirdly like individualistic. I think they work together and it is a community of sorts, but it's not like everyone's working towards a common goal. It's like everyone kind of works together because they're near each other, but they're like different shops, different little places to stay, different people, on their hustle to be a concierge or a tour guide or whatever. So I think you get like a nice little cross section of like people are like, okay, let's see what happened.
yeah, yeah.
Council or anything.
Yeah, I think, and it probably also like got meat from individual people, and so we'll like go to each individual person that they got the meat from to be like, thank you for the meat.
dude,
Uh, grab your friends. If you don't have friends, grab your enemies. We need to have a meeting, like that kind of.
Yeah.
And then we'll basically just like tell them the things that we discussed, and to be like, eh?
Are you giving that speech? Let's get a charisma roll from you. Let's just see how they take the news.
Okay, sure. Wow.
Brand new
Uh,
charisma.
yeah, my now I can
now I got 2, 3 charisma people in the party. We have such a charismatic party.
roll the one.
No,
So you have a hero die, I think.
I do. I'm going to spend it. That's so funny.
Otherwise, I think you might be run out of town for
Well, that's
Um,
so funny too. Okay,
which I
no,
mean, kind of
I'll
works.
spend
I'm
it.
like, you brought back his skull. You got him killed.
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
so and Aderon is going to add clarifications and answer any questions, and also add a hero dice in. And can we do more than one hero die?
Yeah, yeah, you can do as many as you like.
Oh, what does that mean? Do I
Uh,
just roll like multiple d20s?
just
No,
roll
it's not.
6 and add it to your one.
Oh, a d6. Okay, my bad. Okay.
Okay, so
So you're giving me a hero die as well?
I'm going to give you two. Give me a second, and I'll tell you what I got.
Oh, you're rolling it. Okay, cool.
Well, you can roll your own.
I will roll my own.
Oh, that reminds me, Mark. At the beginning of this
Yeah, so I
session,
add 6.
Yeah, at the beginning of the session, make sure you got you 2 hero dice up to your level.
Yeah, so I have plenty as well. I could easily throw in as well.
Yeah, okay, so three, okay, 6,
Four,
10, 11.
yeah, with your,
Do you want to toss in a hero die? Huh?
I think a 14 will do it. I think you're pretty good there.
Oh, all right.
Um, yeah, so they they thank you for bringing the remains of um like the guy back.
Yeah, everyone's like,
Like, not sure what to do
him.
with this, but thank you. Um,
Sorry about that.
maybe make a tchotchke out of it. Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
I think some folks are expressing concern that the wolves have gotten more bold. Travelers have been reportedly attacked. No one has been like murdered like this to our knowledge. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened to someone who left and didn't come back. But I think this is the first time a great folk has been consumed. And like the bones you saw were bones of various animals mostly. There might have been a human or two in there, but it's all mixed up together. Uh,
Hmm.
and yeah, so I think they're like, well, you clearly have some rapport with these beasts. What do you suggest? Because we don't want travelers in the area to feel unsafe, and we definitely don't want more of our own dragged away.
So Aderon starts by setting a base expectation, which is that the wolves find the taste of high ones too rich for themselves,
Of course.
so they don't prefer to eat high ones.
I suppose we would be an acquired taste, yes.
Yes. So the two helpful things to do then are one, of course, not intrude in the territory that the wolves claim, which hopefully is not the same territory that um, the great ones have their sumptuous lifestyle. And two, if some agreement could be made where the wolves and the great ones could benefit each other in some way, even just as a minor token of neutrality, that does seem to be a useful thing. And Apate, as a skilled negotiator, can help you work out details.
Like make them our pets.
I
No.
think that the wolves, as you know, few even come close to your heights of understanding of life.
I know.
And it is less that the wolves are prepared to seek that enlightenment than more they are a kind of mobile scenery from your perspective.
Oh, that is a good point. They are majestic.
They are majestic, and as long as they are not threatening trade, they become a part of a very excellent natural backdrop through which the great ones can reflect their own just transcendent nature.
You could organize safaris for tourists and let them go hunt them.
But if you hunt them, then they no longer become a backdrop, then they become a conflict. And there is no reason to add conflict into this wonderful lifestyle you have.
You
That is
hunt
the way
them,
of lesser people.
As
they
you,
will hunt you.
I mean, they could try.
They did. And then she's just like looking over at that skull, like,
That's fair. Don't
I
apologize.
think
I did hear his. I've heard rumors that he's a recent addition to the Great Folk, but you didn't hear that from me.
oh,
I
oh.
believe his
Really, I mean,
error
if he's
was not
wolf, they couldn't have been that great.
his error was not one of um, extravagance, but rather in his efforts to help us appreciate the life that you have, he moved into the backdrop, perhaps too much.
Hubris.
because it is clear that were any to really truly understand what you have here, you would not be able to beat the tourists away.
That's true. Generally, we're too good for hubris, but I suppose everyone has some flaw. So, using the
Right.
wolves as a backdrop for nature.
You have such
Yes.
a, yes.
They like to eat the gerbil mice who love bones.
Oh, and when you mentioned them, there's kind of a grumble throughout the assembly. It's like a couple dozen people probably.
Yeah.
Um, and I think the general gist is like good riddance. Like let them wipe the vermin out. They think uh, they're annoying and uppity.
The the
You have a lot
gerbils?
of them around here.
Oh, they will come by every once in a while and steal things and insult us.
Hmm.
Insult you?
Some of them are very rude, yes.
They've spoken to you?
The the ones without the hair, the little gross wrinkly ones.
Modan, I think I've been focusing my efforts on the wrong beasts. Oh,
It's very
I need to
hard.
speak to these gerbils.
It's very hard to deal with an even keel with these utterly egotistical beings.
So while those two are conversing suddenly in
Yeah.
the midst of negotiation, Aderon has sort of stepped forward and is very, uh, in a very showing, flourishy manner, making some tea
Yeah.
to take the center of attention off of those two who are
Yeah.
talking.
Ipate like whispering and then being like, yeah, good job, good job. Um, well, I don't think I'm gonna tell them any more about the gerbils because the gerbils might be the ones that whose rights I need to defend.
The point being,
Hmm?
if you don't hunt the wolves
Oh,
won't hunt you. Perhaps the wolves might even be able to help you with your vermin problems. They could keep an eye on the outskirts when they see gerbil rats approaching the city.
If they could be trained to keep the pests away, that would be ideal. Yes. You seem to be somewhat in tune with nature, if you know what I mean. You could maybe train them somehow. We gave you enough meat.
It's not so much training as it is merely discussing.
Whatever you have to do.
Would you? Sorry, I'm not. This is really more Apate's. Would you, if Apate could secure such an arrangement, be willing to leave some small portion of meat at, say, the city's edge in return for them patrolling for vermin?
If they can take care of the vermin problem, of course. It seems like a fine sacrifice to make.
Hmm, okay, we're getting somewhere now.
now what about bones? Would you be willing to leave bones at the outskirts?
I mean, there's
Just
like
looking at options.
everywhere. I mean, the shell is calcium that can be chipped away at.
Okay. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Also, just didn't know your personal customs as to what you did with the deceased or whatnot. If you laid some customs, lay them reverently in the ground or burn them, and so depending on your customs, just depending on what happens to those bones.
Mm.
Obviously, if it's a reverent thing, we don't ask you to be irreverent anyway. But if you see them merely as refuse or just leftovers from living beings, then they could be a currency as well.
And I think when you bring that up, people get a little bit, they clam up a little bit.
Hmm.
Let me get a, I don't know if it's charisma. Let me get a thought roll from you.
I thought, oh, does my pleasant enter in any way?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm an expert at being pleasant.
Yeah, you are.
So why can't I never have thought it's two, so it's a +8 altogether. It's not too bad, is it? 28 maxed out.
Yeah, yeah. Um, is this about what you want to get out of this meeting? Do you think?
I mean, I think so. I don't think we're gonna.
Well, so Adoran would like to add some clarification
Hmm?
in this situation
Hmm.
because we don't necessarily want the bones of the great ones because, as I said, the great ones are too rich for anybody's taste.
No.
We
So the
want
reason
the
why
bones.
okay, the reason why I was asking for this is because I might not want to make an arrangement with the wolves. I might want to make an arrangement with the gerbils, which is why I was asking about bones. Because if they're like, "Oh, we just don't want these hairless beasts around," and then they just leave the bones out, then it's like,
Good to know the options.
And if they leave bones and meat, that's great. They're taking care of the two other communities that are around them. And if both of those communities agree not to mess with the great ones, then we've accomplished the goal.
mhm.
The only thing is, the bones they should leave are things like cow bones,
Yeah,
not great one bones. We need to make clear to the great ones that in general, no one is seeking their elite.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Like the gerbils did not want it either.
Well, the gerbils were going after old bones that we found in a cave. So they were, and these were soft bones too, by the way. They were more,
malleable.
yeah, they were,
Oh, yeah, you gave me a piece.
Yeah.
I
right,
have it.
right. So it could be that the gerbils are more interested in soft, easy to eat bones. And maybe the great ones could boil cow bones and then leave the boiled bones because they'll be softer then, and that'll make it easier for the gerbils.
I mean, admittedly, unless you know something I don't, I wasn't trying to go for or against Great One bones. I was like, well, if you're just throwing them out, bones are bones.
Okay, so
Sure.
yeah, what do we want to accomplish now that we have this excellent role? I think that's what Mark was asking. Hmm.
Well, it looks like the great ones are
That
not
role is
keen.
for Modan. Modan's gonna get a little side
Oh,
conversation after things break up.
oh.
Uh,
Okay, I feel like we don't need like I'm done with
Basically, it
negotiation.
feels like it feels. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like they're pretty amenable to whatever arrangement we want to make, whether that be, oh, leave out some bones and some meat, so kind of it's up. I think it's probably up to us to figure out the logistics and be like, okay, here's what you guys need to do, and you'll be cool with the wolves and the gerbils.
yeah, they pretty much just don't want the animals to interfere with them. What?
So we can work that all out ourselves and just basically let them know the parameters, and they'll probably be cool with that.
And as stuff is kind of breaking up, one of the great folk kind of takes Modan aside um, and says, I'm sorry about the coldness with which your question was received. It's a kind of a point of embarrassment among the great folks. Uh, there's not really places to handle the dead here, but they are stored for a short time and delivered to the satraps when they come by every few months. One caravan in the spring, generally one in the fall.
They come in, they take your dead away
They
with
trade for them.
yeah, or trade, or they trade you goods for your dead.
Yeah.
we don't judge. I mean, there are many different cultures, and
Well, I mean, it seems undignified, don't you think?
I'm not in any position to judge what is or is not dignified. As I said,
Well,
in some
of course, you're
cultures,
not one of the great folk. Yes, I understand.
not what I meant, but
I understand that it doesn't really matter what happens to other people's remains, but some of us have feelings about it.
I'm just saying some cultures bury their dead, some cultures burn their dead, some
Ugh.
cultures even probably eat their dead, though I have not encountered such cultures. Therefore, each culture has its own beliefs and rituals, and I am not going to tell you or anyone what your death rituals should or should not be.
Well, I'm happy to tell you what they should be, and it's
Oh,
not
what do you
like
think
that.
they?
It's good.
I'm curious to hear. What should they be?
Well, we should. Uh, I think everyone should be in charge of deciding what happens to their own remains, and not just being used as trade goods like tiny
Ah,
beads or.
it's a good point. So, for example, when your life ceases, hopefully long, long, long from now, you would rather not have your remains traded to them for goods.
No, of course not. But I won't have much say in the matter.
Well, that hardly seems right now, does it?
Yes.
And who gets to decide what gets done with the dead? Is
Whoever finds them first.
so whoever finds your body will get to decide what to do with your body when you're gone?
Keepers.
Finders keepers. Interesting. So, I guess I'm finding this. I'm sorry. I'm very interesting philosophically. I'm curious. Let's say if I drop dead here right now, you would be the one to find me, correct?
Yes.
I'm here. I'm dead. What would you do with my body?
I mean, put you somewhere cool and safe until the satraps came in the fall.
And then trade my body to this?
Oh,
But I
yeah.
thought you said you thought remains should not be traded to them.
Great ones, great folk remain.
Oh, great ones remains. What would you think should happen to your remains?
Well, I think some sort of statue would be in order, don't you? A monument, maybe? Here
I'm
lies
curious.
the remains of a capo, the Behemoth shell's greatest merchant.
Do
A
you
plaque, I think.
because you seem so wise among the great ones, do you think, this is just between you and I, we'll never leave this conversation, do you think that each great one thinks they are greater than the other great ones? Do you think you're the greatest of the great ones?
I think the great folks are equally great as a group, but there are those who take advantage of opportunities more than others, I would say.
Oh, would you, if you found another great one dead, would you trade them there into the caravan, or would
Well, I would
you?
have to.
But why? You said whoever finds the remains gets to decide what happens to them.
But if I didn't, someone else would. And why would I let them?
Because you found them, they're yours.
Exactly.
But if you don't live by example, how can you expect anyone else? Like if you show that that's what you think should be done with the remains by trading them, then why would anyone else feel any differently?
Are you trying to get Dope Doll's remains from me?
No, I have no desire to get any remains. I'm just curious. You thought there was a greater way to deal with great one's remains. So I'm curious why you would not then take the opportunity. You have found the remains. This is your chance to do what you think should be done with the great one remains.
I
Why
don't
would
think
you
it
not?
happens to them.
Only yourself.
Of course. Don't you? Oh, I'm not a great folk. Yes.
No, I'm trying to understand your position here is all.
Well, I understand it.
So
Very
really,
complex and
the
elevated
only
thought.
way a great one's remains would receive what you think is their just end is if a great one were to find their own remains. Because if any other great one finds remains, they're just going to trade them away.
That's an interesting prospect. Is that wizard of yours still around?
He's very busy.
um Great. So what do you think what do you think of doing next?
I think Apati wants to go talk to some gerbils, right? Which
Cool.
I'm totally down with because let me tell you something. I mean, I definitely like the wolves, the fungus capes, and the gerbils way more than the great ones.
Yeah, yeah. Great. The pines are a 2-day trip away. The lurid pines. Um, yeah. And I think in that direction and to the north, the hills start to give way to kind of foothills. It becomes a little bit more mountainous. Um, and as advertised, after a few days journey, uh, it's a pretty abrupt change, and you can kind of see it as you're approaching. The rolling hills with the cedars and whatnot kind of give way to a roughly circular area of pines that are twisted and thick. The needles don't feel right. Some are like longer and thinner, or just like in like clumps. Um, the the sap, the pitch kind of smells weird. It's not piney. Um,
Real quick, something I just thought of before we left,
yeah.
knowing that this would be our plan, I'm sure. Would they have had any kind of like old animal bones or something we could have taken with
Oh
us?
yeah, I'm sure you could have grabbed something.
So we have some, again,
Yeah,
some bartering offerings for
yeah.
our meetings.
And of course, Aderon has some of the good chewy bones too.
Okay. That's all. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
And I have one too.
Yeah.
One piece of the chewy bone.
Um, cool. And let me get I guess Modan with your super good traveler skill. Let me just get a thought roll with that. Your thought plus traveler.
8. Oh, just traveler. Sorry. Wait, thought also. Yes, thought
Yeah.
and traveler. So yes, 8. Where's my tab? There it is. Damn, 23.
Great, nice.
Good rolls
Um,
today.
yeah, so this is I mean clearly some sort of uh, corruption, some sort of magical corruption, some sort of like biomantic accident, or seepage, or you wouldn't be surprised if, well, as you approach the area, it doesn't feel super dangerous to travel through. But there's a good half day of travel through the trees getting weirder and thicker. Um, and there's actually like not like a trail, not like that you travel on normally, but definitely I think you're able to see that um, people have traveled this way frequently. Not enough to make it a road, but like this is a common-ish destination, I think. And you see why before too long. There are some ruins on the side of this mountain in these thick trees. And some they're like concrete and like plasteel kind of formed uh, ruin building, like kind of like formed the trees twisting around them, like growing around them. Walls torn down. It seems to have been some sort of like small like outpost of some kind. Ancient though, um, probably like long ago, not long ago. So like within memory, but not recent memory for sure. Um, and you can tell it was some. I mean, for 26, yeah, you can tell it was some like test facility or research facility. Um, there's a lot of like clearly biomantic pollution in the area. And it looks like there used to be valuable things here that have clearly been long since looted. Um, and after poking around for a little bit, you notice some of the there's like fern undergrowth, um, and you see some of them moving, like as you approach. Not all of them, but there are certain like lumpy ferns that kind of like almost break apart and skitter away as um, and I think with that roll, they're like half fern, half mouse, that kind of like clump up in like little sunny patches, and then if something comes by, they got scatter.
And it's like, are these just different from the creatures we saw
Yeah,
before? Or,
yeah, these are like little guys.
so they're not the same bone gerbils from
They're not.
the cave.
And with that 26, I think as you're poking around for signs of these, whatever other vermin are there, um, under like there is like a big mossy growth that looks like not like the carpets, but looks like it had been aggressively growing over something organic. Um, but you catch just a corner of like a plasteel something sticking out from underneath it, and peel it back a little, and there is an unopened entrance, kind of like a storm cellar looking entrance in the ground underneath this moss that you can scrape away. Um, and it is not locked. You can the bolt slide open and descend into if you like. It's a dungeon.
That's a dungeon. Would you like me to go first?
Why?
You would prefer to go first?
No, I just. Is there a specific reason why you should go first?
Oh, it's because I think I heard whispers that I lack survival sense.
Well, and your enthusiasm in going first would demonstrate that exact principle.
Good one, Moden.
I would
Well, I
say,
suppose
I
even
mean,
if this part of you is dead, there's a part of you that's in my shoulder, I think. I don't remember where you inserted. So I guess we could always extract that part and grow you again. I don't know if that's why.
Possibly. In order to do that, you would need to retrieve my configuration module and
Oh.
Aderon pull spec the flesh on their chest and opens up a door, and there's a box inside of Aderon. This is my configuration module.
good information to have.
That is good to know.
I mean, we have no idea what is there other than adventure, but I'm willing. I'd love other opinions on this, being that I cannot be objective on such matters. I would think I would be the natural choice to go first, being the skills I've developed in a pleasant demeanor. It's good when calm first contact, and conversely, I do have a radiation gun. So it kind of covers both, friend or foe.
I'm convinced. You are exceptionally weathered in the most pleasant way.
And I'm assuming we all are of the adventurous spirit that, I mean, we can't not go in, right? Like we have
No.
to go in.
We have to.
Okay. Just wanted to double check, make sure we're all in agreement before any decisions are made.
Adron, close your chest door.
I'm sorry. Is that offensive to you?
No, I'm just scared that something's gonna get in there that shouldn't be there.
Aderon, does he still has
Aderon
that,
opens it back up. There is a bug right there.
and you
Thank
still
you.
have that being too, right? That became part of
Aderon
you.
turns around to his back, and there is a small robot that is attached to Aderon's back.
Like
Initially, it attached to Aderon's front, and that was a problem because he couldn't get to his configuration module, but then it moved.
back his front, yeah.
Yeah, I wave politely to the robot.
Right. Well, let's open this door then.
Yeah.
See what awaits.
Um, it is very cold.
Mm.
Not like meat locker cold, but markedly colder than outside. Um, and it so the hallways are kind of like a concrete tunnel, right? And they're lit by these sort of recessed plastic strips along the bottom and the top of the arch of the tunnels. Um, so there's dim light, but it's not, it's easy to see, but things are not super clear all the time.
Yeah, it's not like bright.
Yeah. Um, and I think the um, it looks like a long time ago, someone had found this place before and kind of set up camp in it, and set some like crude, like like a defensive barricade that there's like a small campsite behind, long since rotted away and not a danger at all. But you can see where things like, it looks like things have been like collected and moved, and like there's sign of recent movement in this little campsite. Who's going first?
Me, I think, is the decision.
Cool. Where's my guy? There we go. And I think as you go through, like there's corridors and rooms, and they're all pretty dilapidated and dusty and musty and cold. Um, Pretty like free of garbage mostly until you get to one room that's kind of like I don't know if a dead end is right, but a room that doesn't have any other exits. That's kind of like piled high with refuse and disease, and it smells bad, but the coldness kind of keeps it from being like too rancid. Um, and as you turn away from that, there's a voice at your feet. Um, it says, "I'm sorry you had to see that. We try to be neat." And if you look down, there's like a foot tall, naked mole rat, large front teeth. Um, it is wearing a little jacket, like a little kind of like a Tyvek jacket.
No reason to apologize. Every abode has to have a place where refuse and things go. It has to go somewhere.
Yes, and it all goes there. And
It's good. It's good you're
as
keeping
they
it
say,
contained.
it all goes there. You kind of hear that like there's a tiny chorus of saying the same thing around you that is getting louder. They say no one's come down here for quite some time. How did you get in? Nobody saw you come in. And again, there's a small chorus assembling around you of a few dozen of these large hairless rats.
We stumbled upon the door. We just thought we'd see if anyone was down here.
And
We
decided to
come in
come
peace.
without knocking, I suppose.
What was that?
And decided to come in without knocking, I suppose.
Oh, well, I did not. I'm so sorry. We didn't think that anyone lived here. It looked old and abandoned. And I don't mean that like a bad way, like you don't keep your place well. I meant, just a,
Let me get a reaction roll from you. So that'll be your friendly definitely comes into play there.
just expert. 6 + 6. Any other? Just that. Just D20 plus that. 6, 16.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Say, well, I suppose it's our own fault for not maintaining any sort of defenses. Not that we need them here. Um, what's your business? And again, this is a chorus of a dozen rats all saying this in the same voice. Very reminiscent of the way porcelain princes do.
Well, honestly, I think we might have been looking for you
Oh,
or your kind.
well, here we are, and we are very kind, as I hope you are.
Indeed. Let me introduce you to my compatriots Aderon and Apate, who is kind of a champion of rights of beings such as yourself and other beings who are underrepresented many times and looked down upon and treated unfairly by other races more like ours, the two-legged bipedal types and things. Sometimes, treat what they consider animals or beasts as somehow inferior, which we do not agree with.
Hmm. No, I am Eloquence 53.
Hello,
Welcome to
my
our
name is Epate. Only in one.
Unity. And
Yes.
they have like a very I'm not doing it. They have like a very clear like diction with like sharp consonants. Yeah, they're very very properly speaking.
They're
It's kind of
so
charming.
cute.
2 questions out of character. Do these resemble the ones who like the bones, or are these different?
They don't seem to be the same kinds. They were the ones you saw were more like gerbils.
Right.
These are like
And
mole rats.
and these are also not. These aren't the same one that we encountered. That one who was like, "Go fishing! I'm from the future, and you gotta go
No, no, that was
fishing."
a
Or
completely different guy.
a totally different guy. Okay, so I just want to make sure it's neither one of those species. Got it.
Well, I'm afraid we don't have any refreshments to offer you, but you're
Aaron pulls out their tea cup.
But we have refreshments for you.
oh, delightful. Come to the um brood chamber, I suppose. Room where we hang out. He says more eloquently. Um,
The sitting row.
the sitting room, the salon. Come to our salon. And they lead you through a maze of twisty passages, all alike. To and it is a human-sized facility. Um, it's not huge. You're not lost, but it's clear like they did not construct this or dig this out or anything.
Yeah.
And there's not really fancy places for humans to sit, but there are dozens of these things in this larger room, deeper in, and they offer, in one voice to take a load off, relax. We're happy to share in whatever refreshments you brought in, and um, if there's anything that we can do for you.
Well, I'm not really sure if there is because I'm not actually sure if you specifically are the ones that we are looking for. You see, there have been some conflicts between creatures that may or may not be you. I was away, so I was not there for the confrontations. But
I like you learned. Oh, actually, I don't think it was these creatures, but similar. We've encountered
okay,
some smaller, like gerbil-like creatures who seem to like bones a lot.
Oh yes, the Tinkers. There's a variety of uplifted um, rodents here.
Tinkers, you called them?
Yes, the Tinkers. They're they're curious for sure. They've learned not to intrude into the upper levels here, but I imagine they have ways of getting out. Always chittering around and fussing with their library and undignified is what it is.
Mm.
But we leave them be, and they've learned to leave us be.
And that is what we are hoping to broker between them and some other folks that look more like us. What do they call themselves? The
Oh,
great.
you're not great folk, are you so called?
No,
Good. You had
but
to
they
be
are the
honest.
folk we are trying to bring.
Oh,
We're
you're
trying to bring a nice
agent over
balance between them and the other inhabitants, such as yourselves, of this
there.
area, hoping everybody can live in peace and not have conflict.
And this
Well,
conversation is happening with like, some of them like kind of like skittering up and talking to you, and they're all it's a hive mind of these guys.
hmm.
So imagine like different ones speaking to you in multiple voices.
Yeah. Yeah, and my biggest concern is to make sure that all of you uplifted folks, that your rights are not getting trod upon. That is the most important thing to me. So whatever arrangement we can come to where mm, do not get killed willy-nilly, because that seemed like that was happening.
And there is
Uh,
a chorus of dozens of little laughs everywhere.
is that not true?
Killed by
Does
who exactly?
Oh, well, perhaps I do not need to be concerned, which is great. I love doing less work. This is my obligation, but
Well,
if I
many
do not.
times it takes less work. I assume that you are all unities working together.
I am.
Well, yes, we are all what you would probably consider unities, but at the same time, for example, we all work as a group, just not quite as efficiently in the same way as you do. We're not connected.
I'm familiar with the concept. Thank you.
How do you actually a question? Do we understand how the princes work? Like, is this like common
Really
knowledge?
does. There's
Okay.
speculation and rumor, but they're kind of tight-lipped with their exact.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
then Pato will probably ask. Um, I I am a bit curious. You're so good at having so many bodies and hands with one mind. How do you do it?
We were born this way. Um,
Oh,
we, I, um, it's a lineage.
oh,
I was once, we've been here for quite some time. So the past can sometimes be cloudy. I believe I did this to myself, trying to. Are you familiar with the multi bodies at the Porcelain Prince's Citadel?
yes, yes.
We've had dealings.
Some of our stories uh, suggest that I was trying to recreate that. I don't believe I was always like this, but we've been like this for quite some time, and I'm quite happy with it.
Are you able to keep expanding, or have you sort of hit a point where you think this is the comfortable number?
Our numbers ebb and wane as
Ah,
as they do.
mhm.
So is that how you all came to be in this place? You've been here. You didn't
We've
start
all,
somewhere else and come here,
we've always been in this place.
Ah.
but you have not always been in this form.
It's a difficult question to answer.
Sure.
Our collective memory relies on the memories of each of our parts. And I don't know how familiar you are with beings such as ourselves, but we don't have the extended lifespan that the great folk do, or people in general, humans. So, although our collective memory is unbroken, our individual memories come and go. Sometimes there's gaps. We do our best to fill in, and we've occasionally negotiated with the tinkers to use their libraries, but we've always been here.
So you and the Tinkers are separate, but the Tinkers have libraries.
Yes.
Is there um Do you know if we want to speak to them? How do we do that? How do we reach them?
Oh, they're further down. You have to
Okay.
go a couple flights down, um, past the grim ones. Um, they're I don't know what you would call them. They're large. They're like furry potatoes, only bigger than us. Three toes. Not particular about what or who they eat.
Hmm.
Oh,
That's why I imagine the Tinkers have found another way out, because I
right.
don't think they would want to regularly
Right.
pass through there.
So
No.
these furry potatoes would try to eat tinkers if they tried to go past them.
Seems
They,
like they would try to eat anything,
they eat
right?
each other sometimes. It's revolting.
And that's if we wanted to see the tinkers, we would have to get past the big furry potatoes.
Unless you could find another way through, I suppose.
Right.
Yeah, perhaps we should do that. I don't know if I really want to.
No, don't. Doesn't sound like
Yeah.
things we want to face.
A word of advice. If you do go in that direction, if you see any other humans, uh, avoid them. They're not right.
Oh, there are still humans here.
Are there bones here?
I imagine there's bones inside the humans. Otherwise, they'd be all floppy.
Did you say bones or vomes?
Bones. Oh,
No, I
no.
meant I meant Aderon. I wasn't sure if Aderon said
Oh,
bones or
I said
vomes.
bones because
oh, vomes.
the wolves had indicated that there are bones in this area, and I did not know if the humans were bones.
I'm not familiar with exactly what you mean by that. Can you describe a vome?
It is a human that has been fused with technology.
Oh, that is definitely not these. They have been. Um, they're dead, as far as I can tell. Doesn't keep them from moving around.
Hmm.
They're slow and docile.
But you're in no danger here. Obviously, you seem to be
They've learned their lessons. As
good.
much as
Good.
we abhor violence, sometimes defense takes precedence over
Of course,
the court.
self-preservation.
I
Yeah,
have prepared tea and cakes if you would like to attend. And so
delightful.
everyone sits down with a big thing of tea that they can sip from and has pulled out some different cakes.
And there, 50 or so of them gather around. Start, swarming, maybe not exactly the right word, but that's basically what they're doing. Like moving in clumps. If they weren't so charming, they would be disgusting. But after this
Terrifying.
conversation, yeah, it's like, oh, this is, some of them, sometimes a half dozen of them crawl over me as a one, and there's a little shudder, but they're polite about it. So,
Are they all wearing little jackets?
oh
Or is
yeah,
it
yeah,
just
they all have lilac jackets.
That's so cute?
I hope this demonstrates to you that we do not share the views of the quote unquote great ones.
Oh, of course. I mean, they're insufferable. We would have
Aren't they though?
within 30 seconds of you speaking.
I so wanted to somehow get through to them, but I don't think you can.
No. What purpose would that serve, really?
Well, hopefully to make them see they should be viewing everyone equally and we're all in this together and they shouldn't be putting themselves above, but they seem to be like stone-headed. Might as well go talk to a stone. I think I'd have more luck.
No. We're all working together and we seem to be doing just fine. And
Exactly.
we appreciate a visitor like this. It's been some time that I mean, occasionally, I assumed that you were here searching for value,
No.
but since we were not immediately met with hostility, I now assume that you're not here solely to plunder.
No, specifically, I was looking for tinkers, now that I know their name, so that I could communicate with them and, again, fulfill my duty. But,
Normally,
but,
I see people like you, they're here solely to destroy and take. So we are pleased to have a conversation with someone who is not attempting to stab us, shoot us, or hawk our ear off with how great they are.
We always endeavor to spread comfort, peace, joy, as demonstrated by one of Aderon's favorite things in the world to do is serve tea and snacks.
It is delicious, by the way. I don't believe I've ever had anything so delicious.
In fact, meeting this is the greatest treasure we could have hoped for from our journey into this door.
Really, because
Indeed.
there are things of value remaining here. I don't
oh,
for
Well, I
them.
mean, are they yours? I mean, like we don't want to take anything from anybody else. Like we're not thieves.
They aren't really of use to us, and we've arranged our living space here to our own custom, and
I mean, we would certainly. I mean, obviously, as we do trade goods. That's part of what we do in our travels, and so anything of value does help us sustain our travels and things. But we would only take anything that we were allowed to take. We would never forcibly take anything or anything of value to you.
the other inhabitants of this facility are not as welcoming
Mm.
or amenable to conversation. I imagine the farther you get from civilized beings, the less plundered areas
It,
you will find.
it is a dungeon crawl.
what's a dungeon crawl?
Something I've heard of from adventurers.
We've never had to crawl. It's quite
Hmm.
spacious. I imagine this was a human facility at one point, but it's been
Well,
overrun since
I
then.
suppose we could crawl at some point.
Well, you
Much
reach
bigger.
something that's been collapsed or
Mhm.
Crawling is quite pleasant, although it takes a different form. I would ask, it seems that you have an island of civilization here, and perhaps your greatest want is for companionship.
Interesting. Go on.
Well, sadly, we are travelers, and so only perhaps intermittent at best companions. But I wonder if there is a way that we can connect you to the outer world that would be safe for you.
How so?
Is it possible? Do you like beans?
I'm not really familiar.
oh, don't get me started on beans.
Modan here is a merchant, well, more an entrepreneur of beans, and could possibly arrange bean trade with you. And that would, of course, bring some communication, just because commerce brings communication.
Are they like roots?
They're legumes, and they come in many different forms and flavors.
They're sort of like fruits.
Oh,
And the great thing about
okay,
beans
then.
is regardless of what your tastes are, I guarantee you we can find a bean that you find just so tailored to your taste. And
It's a
if
food, yes.
necessary, I could crossbreed bean varieties to make one once we learn more about your tastes.
You can?
Oh, yes.
We
Grew up on a
mostly
bean farm.
don't eat we have an extensive tunnel network, and we eat roots underground, trying not to destroy what we eat, but sustainably harvest the forest.
You know what? Can I use one of the slots in my traveler kit to pull out a bean sampler?
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Yes. Big example.
They will go nuts over it. They've never had anything so
I was
delicious.
like, here is a sampler of the 10 most common varieties of beans that we grow on the farm. If there's particular ones that strike your fancy, we could have those delivered here to you. Or, if you want a combination, the world is your burrito and I am your supplier.
Amazing. Yeah, they've never had anything so delicious. Even your least popular beans are.
Great. Yeah.
We are coming up on time. I'm sad that Apate's not going to return for more.
No.
I
Uh,
know. My my quest with the tinkers
uh,
to make sure that they're doing okay.
um, how would you like to wrap this? I mean, I assume we're going to hang out with the mole rats for a bit. You can do so safely. Is there anything, Apate, that you would like to uh, do before we leave this bit here?
Um, no. Because I think Ipate's goal is like to make sure that the Tinkers are gonna be okay. Like first of all to ascertain like how uplifted they are. And then once if they hit the threshold, then to be like, how do I make sure that you have a relatively safe environment?
Mhm.
Yeah, safe enough, considering.
Maybe the others can carry on your task.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Yeah.
considering like if we know, I mean, if you know you're not going to be available for a while, maybe maybe it'd be fun to come up with like a story reason here of like where do you go from here? What happens? As opposed to just like
Yeah, Ipate can
resuming next
stay
week and like, oh,
here.
the potter's gone now.
Yeah, Ipate can just stay with all these rodent folk to be
Or
like,
if you want to drop guidance or directives in like Discord, like we can carry your instructions out as you
yeah,
want.
but also like I'm very happy with like everyone to just do whatever you want. Like I'm not.
We still might have some interest in exploring the dungeon,
Okay.
first
Oh
dungeon
yeah,
we've
yeah,
seen.
maybe. I figured,
And
yeah, definitely.
yeah, so we will try and connect with the Tinkers. And then if we assume you're in the background, then if we negotiate things well, maybe Apate can just stay with the Tinkers and the mole rats and
Become an advocate for the mole rats
at
and the
least in the
Yes,
short
tinkers.
term. Yeah.
yes. And then I'll change the mule lawyer to a rodent lawyer.
You could be like anybody else who comes down here, you can be like their representative. Like, hello, welcome. I'm representing.
Well, and I would like to, I will shift back to Adiron voice. Is it possible, Modan and Apate, as you are more experienced world travelers than I, that people might like an alternative place to do trade and acquire supplies on their travels than specifically spending a lot of time with the great ones?
I think absolutely. I mean,
It's
think of.
possible. Oh no, go.
I was gonna say, just think of us. How much? I mean, are you proposing setting up something here with the mole people?
I believe that, yes, these are civilized people who do not spend all of their time explaining why they are superior to everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine that at least some of the commerce that passes through this area would rather participate with these people than with the great ones.
I know I would
This person's singular.
first. I mean, obviously,
That's true. Yes,
as
sorry.
long as this
This
person,
folk.
as long as this
This
folk
folk, yes.
is amenable to that as well, I think that's a wonderful idea.
And I suspect the Tinkers, once we contact them, might also have goods to trade.
I would suggest just the thing I thought of. I don't think you'd want to set. You might want to set it some bit away from this. This is their home, so you wouldn't necessarily want people coming here, especially knowing the propensity for looting. And if people come in and they know there's treasure here, most people are not as well intentioned as we are.
There is a very simple solution to this, you know. There is, for there is the great frozen creature that holds the discs. The lower disc is a natural, safe trading hub.
I personally
All
think it's a
right.
wonderful idea because
We
the less I have to deal with the great folks, the better. And I think everyone probably shares that view.
I am fine with the great folk because I understand that they are self-concerned.
They are sort of the yang to your yin.
great. I feel like yeah, whatever further arrangements, again, I'm cool with anything, really.
Fantastic. Cool. We will end it there then, and let's go around and do some stars and wishes. Start off with Adiron or Teal.
Um, hmm, obviously amazing. And one of the things that I am really enjoying is how, for the most part, we all have such different strengths that we are able to sort of hand off initiative to each other, just depending on the circumstance. And Apata, you bring such a different set of agendas than, for instance, Phaedra does. There's a certain way that Aderon and Modan are a little bit similar. We have the basic agenda of friendliness in some sense, um, but we have different skill sets, and so really just it's hard not to have lots and lots of stars to everybody for all the different things. I do want to say Modan. Um, I'm trying to remember who you were talking with, but I was quite moved by some of your philosophical uh, um, just like philosophical guidance that you are trying to provide.
So talking with
And I, hmm?
talking with Dopatal.
Yeah, especially, and I understand that the great ones are naturally impervious to philosophy, but you were saying some really wonderful things. Actually, I don't think it was talking to the Dopatal. I think it was talking to the wolves.
Oh man.
Because you said some things, I think. I'm trying to remember when it was. I have to review the video because Dopatal wasn't listening. So
Right.
that wasn't a very satisfying experience for Modan. But I think talking with the wolves, you said some things, and I was like, oh, that's good. I like that. Um, it is. We sort of seem to be a roving friendship and philosophy caravan. So, and as far as wishes goes, just keep doing things.
Nice. All right, before I forget, everyone take another 100 XP for finding the pines and hanging out for a little bit. Cool. Let's then go to Heath.
Yeah, that was just fun all around. Glad we got another round with Pate in here. It's kind of amusing how I guess it's either a Pate or Phaedra. You can't ever have them both at once. So that's fun. And yeah, the whole thing, piggybacking on what Teal said, yeah, it's fun how, you kind of round robin it and like, you know, each person can just take the helm for a while and do something fun and fun to watch. And oh man, just the whole thing start to finish was interesting to me. I love Pate's whole wolf negotiation and again, Aderon is such a good I'm not sure where I'm looking for a good temperer of like because while Modan is definitely first and foremost all about like friends, friends, yay, we're all friends. Definitely like if somebody's a jerk, he's like, fuck you. But like Aderon just doesn't even have that. Aderon's like, no, whatever, they're cool too. So it's a very nice like, you know, of like, yeah, it's probably the better way to be than like, screw these guys, whatever. So it's a fun balance of characters we all have because there's like you said, there's we all have things in common, but then we all have our differences and then things where we excel and like it makes for a good caravan because we all like temper each other and teach each other stuff and so it's like, but yet we're also, I love that we're all basically on the same page for big things. We're like when we get to the door, it's like, well, of course we're going in, right? Yeah, we're going in. There's not even a discussion. Let's go. Like it's not even a question. It's nobody's like, I don't know if we should go in. Which again cracks me up because if Mark ever wants to kill us all he's got to do is have us come across the door and we're like, we're going in. You fall into a pit of lava, you're dead. So yeah, the whole thing was fun. And when we're on break, I know we've all talked multiple times about like how great this game is for various reasons and just the setting and the feeling of it. And I was telling my roommate, I was like, oh yeah, I'm streaming right now. Oh, what are you streaming? Oh, it's RPG called Ultraviolet Grasslands. And then the question, oh really, what's it about? I'm like, where do I start? How do I even? So I tried to just give him a short, like, well, for example, we're negotiating right now with some wolves who are symbiotic with these fungus carpets. And the thing is, they just kind of like gave him the snarf, like where I was at right now. I was like, that's kind of what it's about. We're a traveling caravan also. And sometimes we try to buy goods low and sell them high elsewhere. But it's like, I didn't even know where to start with. What's this game about? Brain glitch. So yeah, just all around, just fun playing with y'all, fun setting. Mark, great as always. I love, especially this session in particular. I felt like really rolled with our. It might have just been the luck of the draw, the luck of the roll, or whatever. But this one really seemed to roll with our like friends, be friends with everybody. Always do good things. We're gonna have conversations. We're not gonna fight. Yeah, but so it just all worked out. This time we've had to fight before.
The nice work. The wolves could have been very bad.
Yeah. But yeah, just all good stuff. I could go on forever, so I'll just stop with that. I don't think I have any real wishes other than I'm always debating like, ooh, take my XP for me or level up Beetle Horse some more. I don't know. So let's see what happens.
Beetle Horse came through for you today.
I know, right?
Yeah, Beetle Horse did save your bacon.
Yeah. Yeah, if I was on foot, would not been good.
That's a good time. More disintegrated wolves, probably.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. We'll finish up with Agatha.
Yeah. My star. Okay. First of all, star to Teal when you. Oh no! Now I forgot what was the exact moment. You got. Oh, when Adoran introduced trading, with the mole rat folk.
Yes.
That was I feel like you did that I think twice this session actually where you like introduce another element that then like moved the story forward and I really like that. And then also just all this like weird stuff. Adoran is so weird and it's very fun. Very evocative. And then I love how all of our characters are so talky like in different ways. Like anytime we go into any scene it's or any situation it's like, well, let's yap. How about that? And it's really fun. I also like, yeah, I think I'm just seconding some of other people's stars for Modan. Modan is just such a like like a friendly guy. And the conversation, that circuitous conversation with the great one where it's like, let's reach this logical conclusion and then just immediately getting it's just the last step, not crossing that threshold, is is it was really funny. And then also the part when he reacted with "that was not what I meant" was so funny to me. Um, yeah, I really like Modern as a character. I think it's also just fun to play like an OSR game where it is all conversation, and then also like the vibe is very like let's try to just it feels kind of to me like real life almost, where it's like you're just trying to like, just trying to get by. I mean, there's some of us are much weirder than others and then have like weird goals. But like a lot of it is like you get into a situation and like the first thing you want to do is like try to like not let things escalate and or like try to deal with things reasonably or like yeah be friendly, and I really like that vibe specifically. It really helps ground just how weird the setting is, which I feel like it can very easily like go into like wow, like I
Mm.
don't know how to center myself in this because everything is so weird and there's not a lot to um anchor with like my real world experience and knowledge. So I feel like that is the aspect that makes this world so rich and beautiful, is because of that kind of like very human feeling in terms of like the interactions and stuff. Mark, I love how much you lean into the snobbishness of the great ones and how silly it is. Like I feel like you're having a lot of fun with it, and like every time like they respond, it is very funny to me. So I like them a lot. Um, I also really like just all of the interactions that we had with all the NPCs today. That it was just like more than the great ones, like also like the wolf stuff that was really cool. um like I didn't expect to succeed, so I'm glad that we did. So yeah, that was just yeah, it's just really cool. I loved all the conversations, and then of course finding out more lore about this specific mole rat, um and like learning a little bit of the secret, but not actually any real secret that has to do with the porcelain princess. But yeah, that was cool. I really like that it turned out to just be a pleasant interaction in our dungeon crawl. So yeah, yeah, just such a good time. Such a good time.
I gotta
Um,
just figure. Oh, sorry.
no.
I was gonna two things you did. I had to figure out because I forgot to mention. Yeah, the Aderon's bean thing was like one of my favorite things because that's like the whole adventure has been Modem being like, I'm gonna start my bean enterprise, and then he
Yeah.
kind of did.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it's kind of away from my mind, but then like we've been traveling together so long, we know each other so well that Aderon's
Yeah.
like, perhaps you'd like to hear about Modan's beans. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
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 And then yeah, and then seconded also on Mark's the snob. It was so funny because so like just when you'd start getting an ounce of sympathy for the guy, it's like, oh wait, no, he's a fucking dick. And then it's like every single time you're like, okay, we're getting somewhere. No, we're not. We're not getting anywhere. Never mind.
You just need to understand their vibe. Their vibe is
It,
very simple.
it's
It's
also
very
so funny
simple.
because like I feel like all of these NPCs also get away with so much because all of our characters are like, okay, like we'll be nice, we'll roll along with it, which is so funny to me as well. Um, it feels very different from like a lot of tables where it's like PCs are like really like aggro. So
Vanilla bodies.
yeah, so it's fun. It's really funny. Yeah, I don't have any particular wishes. I think Empate can just be like, I'm gonna stay here for a bit. I'm gonna hang out with these folk, make sure that their rights are all spoken for, that kind of thing. And then, but I'm also happy, Mark, if you want for Ipate to just be like an NPC, like I don't,
Yeah, yeah.
you can do whatever.
If you have any preferences, drop them in Discord and we'll work it out. Cool. Yeah, I had a great time this time around. As always. Yeah, the difference between like pseudo libertarian great folks and the like completely like the normal humans who are just completely intolerable and the like hive mind multi-body mole rat monster in the dungeon that is like the most pleasant person to be around, like such a fun thing. And that's like not all as written, like there's expanding on what's there, but that's I rolled up those eloquent mole rats and there they are. So level 6 eloquent mole rat, by the way. So they have no problem defending themselves.
Oh yeah, that's why they were laughing when I was like, "Oh, I don't want any one
Oh,
of you to
you're gonna defend
die."
us? Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, this is a good time all around. Yeah, great to have Agatha back with us as always. Feel free to come back anytime you can. And yeah, I'm gonna stop the recording unless we got anything else. Goodbye, anyone listening.